Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
The New York Jets yesterday made a really smart under-the-radar signing. They signed former Washington football team tackle. That sounded weird to say, but that's what happens when you have an NFL team that still refers to themselves as the football team. Well, anyhow, the Jets have signed Morgan Moses, the former Washington tackle, to a one-year deal. And he's going to now immediately start at right tackle for the Jets. So the Jets now have had some offseason, if you think about it big picture. They have added Morgan Moses to an offensive line on the right side that now already has Mekhi Becton, who is a future All-Pro at left tackle. The Jets had a great draft led by, of course, Zach Wilson, but they also moved up in the draft to number 14 to take the best guard in the draft in Elijah Vera Tucker at a USC. So the Jets now have possibly 3 Pro Bowl caliber guards or tackles on their offensive line. And if you look at the Jets' plan, they are giving Zach Wilson a chance to have success as a rookie. They really are. The Jets are building that wall. And Joe Douglas gets it, which I think if you're a Jet fan, you should be very encouraged that your GM has a real plan in place to make sure Zach Wilson has a chance to succeed, unlike what happened with Sam Darnold. This is a great move, I thought, by the Jets. You add Moses to an offensive line that is already going to be improved, but now will give Zach Wilson a real chance to have long-term success. George Fant, I thought, was a decent right tackle. But now you make Fant a guy that could be a backup, could come in and play a swing role. It improves your depth and flexibility. And I'm going to say this here on the show. I'm going to say this as a national take. The Jets are the most improved team in the NFL. Now, they won 2 games last year, so it's hard to be worse than that. But if you look at the moves they've made, you start by replacing Adam Gase with Robert Saleh. By accident, your coaching is going to be better. Even if Saleh is mediocre, he's that much better than Adam Gase. But then, this offseason, you sign Corey Davis to play wide receiver. You add Carl Lawson, one of the best edge rushers in the league a year ago, to play defensive line. Keelan Cole is a solid wide receiver you bring in. Sheldon Rankins and Gerard Davis on your defense. LaMarcus Joyner in your secondary. Special teams ace Justin Hardy. Then you take Tucker in the draft. You get Elijah Moore, who's a top 16 player in my mind, at pick 34 for your offense. And the Jets have put Zach Wilson in a car that could drive. You know, this is not a car that's going to break down like what Sam Darnold was driving. I think the Jets are going to be a drastically improved football team. Maybe they're not a playoff team because it's hard to go from 2-14 to the playoffs. But this is a team that's going to be competitive. They will not have their season over by Columbus Day for the first time in a decent amount of time. Like, I think if you're a Jet fan, you should be very excited about the direction this team is heading because it seems like they have a real plan that's in place. And I also think when you look at the Jets' future here, you have confidence that Joe Douglas knows what he's doing and that he's going to hit on these draft picks going forward. His first draft was a big success with Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, some of the players he took at the back end of the draft. But this year's draft has a chance to be elite, obviously, if Wilson's great, and that's what it will eventually all come down to. Is Zach Wilson a franchise quarterback or not? But you have belief that the Jets are going to give him every opportunity to have success. Every opportunity to prove that he's the guy. And the Jets next year have 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, more cap space. This is the beginning of a rebuild, not the end. But the rebuild has a real direction and a real plan that you could follow along. You know, the Jets could be what the Dolphins were about a year ago. Remember when they were tanking for Tua? Well, they end up winning 5 games that year. We learned a lot about how good of a coach Brian Flores was because instead of winning 1 game, they won 5 and were in a lot of games. And then last year, the Miami Dolphins won 10 games and nearly went to the playoffs. I'm not sitting here and telling you the Jets are a 10-win team at this moment. They got to prove it on the field. But we saw Miami have an excellent offseason a year ago, and it translated with a rookie quarterback in and out of the lineup with Ryan Fitzpatrick to them nearly making the playoffs and getting 10 wins. And I think the Jets are in a similar circumstance where they have the coach in place, and we'll find out what Saleh is, where the early returns are positive. They have a defense that's much improved. CJ Mosley comes back. An offense that's obviously much improved with the drafting of Elijah Vera-Tucker and Elijah Moore. The signings of Corey Davis and Keelan Cole. You really see this plan being built here. And if Zach Wilson is good, he doesn't have to be Justin Herbert in year one. But if he's solid and shows flashes, don't be surprised if the Jets go from 2 wins to competing for a wild card spot. This is a team that obviously had to be aggressive this offseason. But if you're being fair and you're evaluating the Jets as a whole, I'd say this. To me, they are the most improved team entering 2021 from last year.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts.